Hello, my name is Taba and I'm a science educator with the Ontario Science Centre. In our previous video, we explored how STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, and STEM skills are naturally embedded in play. We also touched upon the importance of failure and the growth mindset in these spaces, activities, and programs. Now, in this video, we'll share tips on how to cultivate a science-friendly growth mindset in your classroom, along with some sample approaches linked to the kindergarten curriculum. To start, it's important to remind ourselves of the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. With a fixed mindset, a learner believes that their intelligence is static. These learners may be convinced that they can't learn anything new or may be reluctant to try because of fear of failure. With a fixed mindset, you might hear things like, "I'm not very good at math. I can't figure it out. Everyone is better than me at this. I hate spelling. I'm bad at this." But with a growth mindset, a learner believes that their intelligence and abilities can grow and expand. In this case, you might hear things like, "That didn't work. I'll try something different. I can do hard things. I don't understand, but can you help me?" In a fixed mindset, all the focus is on the outcome. If you don't achieve your desired goal, you failed and there's no reason to try again. A growth mindset, though, allows learners to find value in what they are doing, regardless of the outcome. Growth mindsets can also lead to stronger social skills and self-regulation. We all have a combination of fixed and growth mindsets. Since young children are beginning to form ideas about their abilities and are developing their love of learning, reinforcing the growth mindset should start as early as possible. For early learners, we can foster a growth mindset in the classroom by modeling it, guiding it, and celebrating it. Firstly, approach mistakes with fearlessness. When early learners see the adults in their lives making mistakes, learning something new, or pushing themselves out of their comfort zones, they become more inclined to mirror that behavior. Secondly, tell your class when you are expanding your knowledge and share your learning process. For example, maybe you're using an unfamiliar piece of equipment in the classroom. Instead of testing it out or setting it up when the classroom is empty, involve your students or use your own growth mindset language. Or if you're writing on a chalkboard or whiteboard and make a mistake, share that experience and verbalize how you approach it with flexibility. For instance, "I'm always working on my spelling." Creating a safe space for mistakes and for trial and error is one of the best ways to guide the growth mindset. You can do this by encouraging students to say, "I don't know," or "I don't understand," and leaving room for feelings of frustration. You can also build a classroom culture where students are expected to try 3 times before they ask for help. This will encourage students to make multiple attempts before giving up or turning to others for solutions. In those subsequent attempts, they might see improvements, solve their problem, or become motivated to try for a prolonged period. Making multiple attempts before asking others to step in is a mindset a child will carry with them and find useful into adulthood. You can use language that encourages and praises effort over ability and process over product. For instance, "I really love how you try different ways." "You were so persistent." "You made so much progress." "You should feel so proud of yourself." "We will keep working on it together." Kindergarten-age students are in a period of growing independence. Not being able to achieve goals can lead to frustration, big feelings, and dysregulation. With patience and consistency, you'll start to see the growth mindset flourishing. How can you identify if it's working? Well, you'll start to hear things like, "I'll try again tomorrow." "I think I'll be able to do it." "I can't do it yet." Students will also support one another, collaborating to solve problems, offering their own expertise when they see someone else struggling, and using encouraging language to support their peers. Studies have shown that students are more likely to approach STEM subjects with a fixed mindset, partly influenced by stereotypes that paint a narrow picture of innate aptitude and the kind of people likely to have it. This rigid view of who a science person is can cause students to count themselves out. By modeling a growth mindset as part of the process, science can become less intimidating. Students may find it easier to picture themselves as a science person by virtue of simply trying regardless of result. In this approach, and in reality, anyone can be a science person. Language can make a significant difference in how we perceive and engage with the world. Making little changes to how we speak about our abilities can have a big impact on our mindsets. Consider the power of the word yet. I can't do it. This is a common feeling we've all had at one point or another. It can lead to frustration, deflation, defeat, and resistance to trying again. Now compare that to I can't do it yet. This acknowledges that something might be tricky at this moment, but you are confident that you will be successful in the future. I liken the power of yet to the little engine that could. I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. It sparks an image of perseverance and resilience, and it contributes to building a positive self-image. Young kids will see themselves as capable and determined, a mindset that can carry with them as they grow throughout their educational journey. Nurturing the growth mindset is beneficial in meeting virtually all of the kindergarten curriculum expectations. Here's an example using scientific investigation and engineering design. You set up an activity where you ask students to build a tower or structure out of materials of their choosing. The tower needs to reach a targeted height and hold a certain weight, say 2 or 3 books. Students working on this activity will need to consider what materials have the strength and stability to allow their structure to reach the intended height. In doing so, they are gaining experience with selecting materials and tools to carry out investigations and to construct models and structures. It may take several attempts and multiple iterations with different materials or building styles to find a structure that reaches the desired outcome. This activity also targets components of the engineering design process, such as brainstorming and designing a solution, building a model with selected materials, testing and checking to see if the solution works, and improving the design based on observations. The components of engineering design mirror the Ontario Science Centre's Ask, Test, Repeat model of scientific inquiry, something we'll dive into more deeply in our next video. Once the activity has been completed, or students have gone as far as they can start to draw conclusions and communicate results by showing or describing the process of building their structure. Communicating results and findings is a critical part of the growth mindset, as it focuses on the effort and process of a project, not the result. In an activity like this one, structures will topple, heights won't be reached, weights will collapse, and that's okay. These are great opportunities to ask reflective questions such as, what would you do differently the next time? What would you do the same? Having students reflect on an activity where they may not have felt successful can ease the transition. By nurturing the growth mindset, you encourage your students to persevere regardless of the outcome. Like STEM, the arts are another area where we see a strong emphasis on the product rather than the process. For example, you set up an activity where students are asked to invent their own robot by cutting out different colored pieces of construction paper and gluing them to a black background. The goals are for students to name the robots, describe an activity or job that the robot might do, maybe they help pick up garbage, and to identify the intended shapes that comprise the robot's body. Those are the only parameters, leaving students free to use their imagination and creativity. In this activity, students will be engaging in geometric and spatial reasoning when asked to describe the intended shapes present in their robots. They will also be using oral and nonverbal communication to share the robots' jobs, shapes, and names. To complete their robots, students will be using scissors and glue sticks, both of which can be tricky for small hands. Often, for early learners, the product of an art project will not match their intended result, which can lead to frustration and fixed mindset language. You might hear things like, "I'm bad at art," or "I hate using scissors," for example. After they're done, when you ask students to share their responses to the project goals, like the robot's name and job, also ask them questions like what they enjoyed about the project, what excited them, what they feel proud of, and what they hope to get better at. Listen for growth mindset language and guide them along the way. The growth mindset doesn't just apply to academic goals and curriculum expectations either. We can model, guide, and celebrate the growth mindset during everyday endeavors. Putting on winter gear is a great example. This can be a daily challenge for students of many ages, but particularly for our kindergartners and for us as their teachers. Getting gloves on the right way can cause a lot of frustration. Did they try more than one way? Did they reflect that even though it feels hard right now, it will get easier? Did they see another classmate having a tough time and offer encouragement or assistance? Even in daily routines like getting shoes on the right foot, tying laces, and zipping jackets, there are opportunities to nurture the growth mindset while at the same time addressing other priority kindergarten curriculum areas, such as social skills, self-regulation, and problem solving. Kindergarten is an exciting and often challenging time for a child. There are unfamiliar routines, new expectations, different personalities, and an abundance of learning. In this early stage of students' learning adventures, we don't want them to view intelligence as something they either do or do not possess, to see skills or even learning as something they innately can or cannot do. Everyone can learn. You are one of the most important adults in your students' world. As educators, how we interact with our students shapes their attitudes towards learning throughout their lives. Teaching and nurturing the growth mindset in early learners has long-term benefits. By recognizing and helping students recognize that their abilities can flourish with work, dedication, and yes, mistakes along the way, you're helping your students build their resilience and self-esteem while nurturing a love of learning, all with the growth mindset.